The alarm blared through Frontier Medical Outpost 7, jerking Dr. Minji Kim from her brief nap. She had been dreaming of Earth's oceans, a place she hadn't seen in 3 years. Dr. Kim to Emergency Bay, the station AI announced. Incoming vessel, with critical xenobiological patient. Minji rubbed her eyes and pushed herself up from her small desk. Her quarters doubled as her office, a luxury on the space station that marked her status as lead xenobiologist. The cramped room was filled with specimens and data pads, her small cot tucked into the corner. Time? She asked the air. Through 27 station time, the AI replied. The merchant vessel Star Wanderer will dock in 8 minutes. Minji pulled her white coat on over her station jumpsuit. At 34, she was young to be leading the xenobiology department, but there weren't many doctors willing to serve at the farthest human outpost in explored space. Her background in veterinary medicine made her particularly valuable here, where most medical emergencies involved non-human species. By the time she reached the emergency bay, her assistant, Dr. Junho Lee, was already preparing the primary trauma unit. What are we dealing with? Minji asked, pulling her black hair into a tight bun. Junho, a thin man with glasses and a perpetually worried expression, handed her a data pad. The transmission was rushed. All I know is it's a large predator species. They found it on a derelict ship. The creature is wounded and hasn't slept in what they estimate to be weeks. Weeks without sleep? What species can survive that? None that I know of, Junho admitted. The bay doors hissed open as the ship docked. Captain Hyunwoo Park entered first, his space-worn face grave beneath his graying hair. Dr. Kim, he said, with a quick bow. Thank you for taking this case. My crew is terrified. Where is the patient? Minji asked. The captain gestured behind him. 4 of his crew members wheeled in a large containment unit. Inside, visible through the transparent top, lay a creature unlike any Minji had seen before. It had 6 limbs, with the middle pair seeming to function as either arms or legs as needed. Its body was covered in short fur with striking orange and black stripes. Most remarkable were the bioluminescent markings that pulsed along its spine and face. The creature's eyes were open but unfocused, glowing an eerie amber in the bright medical bay. We had to sedate it, Captain Park explained, but it's wearing off quickly. Nothing seems to work for long. Minji approached the container cautiously. Species? Unknown, the captain replied. We found its ship drifting. Signs of attack? This one was the only survivor. The creature's chest heaved with rapid, shallow breaths. Its claws, retractable like a earth cat's but much larger, extended and retracted in random spasms. It needs medical attention, Minji decided. Transfer it to our containment unit. As the crew moved the alien to the outpost's medical containment field, the sedative began to wear off. The creature's eyes focused suddenly, darting around the room. A low growl built in its throat as it tried to stand, only to collapse again. Vitals, Minji ordered, and Junho projected the readings into the air beside her. Heart rate equivalent is dangerously high. Brain activity suggests extreme exhaustion but inability to reach sleep state. Minji noted the wounds across the creature's side. Those need treatment. Prepare standard broad-spectrum antibiotics and... She was cut off by a sudden roar as the creature lunged against the containment field. The energy barrier flashed blue, holding firm, but everyone jumped back. It's going to hurt itself, Minji said. We need to calm it down. Additional sedatives? Junho suggested. No. Look at these readings. Its body is processing the chemicals too quickly. We need another approach. The creature paced the containment field, its movements becoming increasingly erratic. It's bioluminescent. Markings flashed rapidly, changing from blue to red. Captain, what can you tell me about its behavior on your ship? Captain Park shook his head. It was like this, agitated, unpredictable. But when Yeona, our tech specialist, was working near it, it seemed less aggressive. What was she doing? Just routine maintenance. She likes to hum while she works. Minji looked back at the creature, which had begun to claw at the floor of the containment unit. It was going to tear its wounds open at this rate. Everyone clear the room except Dr. Lee, she ordered. When the merchant crew had left, Minji approached the containment field. The creature watched her with those glowing amber eyes. "What are you planning?" Junho asked nervously. "An experiment," Minji replied. She began to hum softly, an old Korean lullaby her grandmother used to sing. The effect was subtle at first. The creature stopped pacing, its head tilting slightly. The bioluminescent markings along its spine slowed their frantic pulsing. Minji continued humming, keeping her voice soft and even. The creature sank to the floor, its 6 limbs folding beneath it. The amber eyes remained fixed on her, but the pupils dilated slightly. "Its vital signs are stabilizing," Junho whispered, watching the readings. Minji nodded but didn't stop humming. When she reached the end of the lullaby, she began again, this time adding the words. Her voice was nothing special, just a clear, gentle sound in the sterile medical bay. The creature's eyelids drooped, then snapped open again. Its markings changed from red to a soft purple. "I think it's trying to sleep," Junho said in amazement. "Keep an eye on those vitals," Minji instructed, then continued singing. After 3 repetitions of the lullaby, the creature's eyes closed for nearly 30 seconds before jerking open again. It made a soft chirping sound, almost plaintive. "It's fighting sleep," Minji realized. "Something's preventing it from fully surrendering to unconsciousness." "Fear?" Junho suggested. "Maybe, or trauma." Minji made a decision. "Lower the containment field." "What, are you insane?" "Just do it, Junho." Reluctantly, he lowered the energy barrier. Minji stayed perfectly still as the creature lifted its head, now nothing separating it from her. She continued singing, keeping her voice steady despite her racing heart. The creature slowly extended one of its middle limbs toward her. The appendage ended in something between a paw and a hand, with retractable claws and pads like a cat, but opposable digits like a primate. Minji held her ground. The creature's limb stopped just short of touching her lab coat. Then it withdrew, curling the limb under its body again. It made another chirping sound, softer this time. "I'm going to try to treat its wounds," Minji said between verses of the lullaby. "Get me the dermal regenerator." As she worked and sang, the creature remained still, its glowing eyes fixed on her face. Whenever she paused her singing for too long, the bioluminescent markings would flash red again and the creature would grow restless. "I think we've found our treatment plan," Minji said, continuing to sing as she sealed the worst of the alien's wounds. "You can't sing forever," Junho pointed out. "No, but I can sing long enough to learn more about our patient." Minji studied the creature's striking coloration. "Those orange and black stripes remind me of tigers from Earth." The creature's markings pulsed once in response to her voice. "And these markings," she continued, "they must serve some communication purpose. And the blood around its wounds is much darker than human blood," Junho added, "almost crimson." Minji nodded. "Then that's what we'll call it for now. Blood tiger." As if understanding, the creature's markings pulsed blue once before returning to purple. Its eyes closed again, staying shut a little longer this time before reopening. A small sound escaped its throat, a rumble that reminded Minji of a cat's purr. "Welcome to Frontier Medical Outpost 7, Blood Tiger," Minji said softly between verses. "I don't know what brought you here or what happened to you, but I promise I'll help you sleep." The alien's eyes fixed on hers, and for a moment, Minji felt something. A presence brushing against her mind, featherlight, and gone almost instantly. She shivered but continued singing. Outside the medical bay, Director Ji-Woo Choi watched through the observation window. She activated her communicator. "Get me a secure channel to Earth Command," she said quietly. "Tell them we've made first contact with an unknown sentient species, and tell them Dr. Kim appears to have formed some kind of connection with it." As Minji's voice filled the medical bay, the blood tiger's eyes closed once more, and this time, they stayed closed for almost a full minute, the first real sleep it had known in weeks. 3 days passed, and Dr. Minji Kim was exhausted. She had been singing for hours each day, her voice growing hoarse. The blood tiger would only sleep when she sang, and even then only for a few minutes at a time. You need rest too, Dr. Junho, Lee said, bringing her a cup of hot tea. You can't keep this up. Minji took the tea gratefully. I know, but look. She pointed to the monitoring screen where the blood tiger lay curled up in the containment area. The creature's wounds were healing well, but dark circles had formed under its amber eyes. It's suffering, Junho. Without proper sleep, it will die. I've been searching the galactic database, Junho said. I think I found something. He pulled up a display showing a similar creature, though with subtle differences. The entry was brief. Katri, Minji read aloud. A predatory species from the Vega sector. Highly intelligent. Technologically advanced. Reclusive. Known colloquially as blood tigers, due to their distinctive coloration and fierce reputation. She looked at Junho. This is our patient. Keep reading, Junho urged. Limited contact with other species. Caution advised. Capable of forming deep psychic bonds. Minji stopped. Psychic bonds? That's what I wanted to show you, Junho said. There's a note about Katri forming bonds with specific individuals from other species. The mechanism is unknown, but the bond is described as powerful and lasting. Minji looked back at the sleeping alien. As if sensing her attention, the Katri's eyes opened and it let out a soft chirping sound. I think it's a female, Minji said. I'm going to call her Nari. It means lily in Korean. You're naming it now? Junho raised his eyebrows. It seems wrong to keep calling her it or the blood tiger. Minji walked to the containment field. Hello, Nari. The Katri's bioluminescent markings pulsed blue, and she made that chirping sound again. When Minji began to sing, Nari's eyes drifted closed. I need to understand this better, Minji said between verses. Get me everything we have on psychic bonds between species. While Nari slept, Junho and Minji pored over the limited research. Most of it was theoretical, but one study stood out. Look at this, Junho said. Certain sound frequencies can synchronize brain patterns across different species. It's rare, but documented. So my singing might be producing frequencies that match Nari's brain patterns, Minji asked. Possibly. If she's formed a bond with you, your voice specifically might be what helps her sleep. Their research was interrupted by Director Jiwoo Choi entering the medical bay. The older woman's face was serious. Dr. Kim, we have a situation. A military vessel has arrived. They're sending a representative. Minji frowned. Military? Why? They received our report about the Katri. Apparently, this species is of great interest to Earth Command. Before Minji could respond, the doors opened again. A tall man in a crisp uniform walked in, his posture rigid and his eyes cold. Colonel Do-hyun Kang, he introduced himself with a curt nod. Earth Military Intelligence. What interest does military intelligence have in my patient? Minji asked. Colonel Kang walked to the containment field, studying Nari with calculating eyes. The Katri are valuable intelligence assets. Their psychic abilities make them unique. She's not an asset, Minji said firmly. She's a wounded creature under my care. A wounded creature that belongs to a species known for their advanced technology and telepathic abilities, Kang corrected. My orders are to transfer it to our research facility. Her, Minji said, and she's not stable enough for transfer. Without proper sleep, she could die. Kang turned to her, his eyes narrowing. I'm told you found a way to help it sleep. I have, but the effect is temporary and only works when I sing to her directly. The colonel smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. Then you'll come with us. Director Choi stepped forward. Colonel, I must remind you that this outpost operates under medical sovereignty protocols. As long as the Katri is a patient, Dr. Kim has final authority over her care. Kang's smile disappeared. This is a matter of galactic security. This is a matter of medical ethics, Minji countered. And until Nari is healed, she stays under my care. The colonel stared at her for a long moment before nodding stiffly. Very well, for now, but I will be staying on the outpost to observe. After he left, Director Choi turned to Minji. Be careful, Doctor. Colonel Kang is not known for his patience. When they were alone again, Minji sat beside the containment field. Nari was awake, her amber eyes fixed on Minji's face. I won't let them take you, Minji promised. She began to sing again, a different song this time, a gentle folk tune about the mountains of her homeland. As Nari's eyes closed, Minji felt a strange sensation, like fingers brushing against her mind. Then a voice not heard with her ears but felt inside her thoughts. Help me. Minji gasped, stopping mid-song. Nari's eyes snapped open, the markings along her spine flashing red. Did you just speak to me? Minji whispered. The Khatri made no response, but her eyes remained fixed on Minji. Junho, Minji called. I need a brain scan, mine and Nari's right now. Junho looked confused but obeyed. As the scanner hummed, Minji explained what had happened. It felt like she was in my head, she said. Just for a moment. The scan results appeared on the screen. Junho's eyes widened. That's impossible, he muttered. What is it? Your brain waves. They're synchronizing with hers. When you sing, the patterns overlap almost perfectly. Minji looked at Nari, who was beginning to pace restlessly without the singing. The database said they form psychic bonds. What if my singing enables that connection? What if she can communicate telepathically but only when I help her reach the right mental state? That would be unprecedented, Junho said. So is everything about the situation. Minji moved closer to the containment field and began singing again. As Nari's eyes drifted closed, Minji focused her thoughts. Can you hear me? The response was faint but unmistakable. Yes, help me. Danger comes. What danger? What happened to you? Images flashed through Minji's mind. A sleek ship, other Khatri with different colored markings than bright lights, explosions, pain. Nari alone, wounded, afraid. We were attacked, the voice explained. I escaped. They will come for me. Who? Will come for you. But Nari was waking again, the connection broken. Her markings pulsed anxiously and she let out a low growl. The medical bay doors opened, and Colonel Kang entered with 2 soldiers. Dr. Kim, my superiors have overruled the medical sovereignty protocols. We'll be taking the Khatri now. Minji moved between them and the containment field. She's trying to communicate. She says she's in danger, that someone is after her. All the more reason to move her to a secure facility, Kang said, motioning to his soldiers. She won't sleep without me, Minji insisted. As I said, you're welcome to accompany us. Director Choi hurried in, her face flushed. Colonel, I've just spoken with the Galactic Medical Board. They've upheld our sovereignty claim. You have no authority to remove the patient without Dr. Kim's consent. Kang's face darkened. This isn't over, Doctor. He turned to leave, then paused. For the record, helping an alien species over human interests could be considered treason. After they left, Minji returned to Nari, who was watching her with those intelligent amber eyes. I need to understand more, Minji told Junho. We need to find a way to extend these communication periods. I might have an idea, Junho said, already typing on his console. If we could record your singing and modify it to maintain the exact frequencies that synchronize your brain patterns. A device that could help her sleep even when I'm not singing? Minji asked hopefully. Exactly. I'll need help though. Junho thought for a moment. Subin Yoon in communications might have the expertise we need. Minji nodded, then turned back to Nari. We'll figure this out. I promise. The Khatri's markings pulsed blue once, and Minji felt sure Nari understood. As she began to sing again, she wondered what else the blood tiger might reveal once they could truly communicate. And she wondered what danger was coming for them all. 1 week had passed since Nari arrived at the outpost. Dr. Minji Kim sat cross-legged on the floor of the medical bay, singing softly as the Khatri slept nearby. The containment field had been removed 3 days ago. Nari had proven herself to be not just peaceful but protective of Minji. Subin Yoon, the outpost's communication specialist, worked quietly at a nearby console. A small device sat on the table beside her, recording Minji's voice. "That should be enough for now," Subin said when Minji finished her song. Her voice was barely above a whisper to avoid waking Nari. Minji nodded and carefully stood up. Nari's eyes opened immediately, tracking her movement. "It's okay," Minji said gently. "I'm not leaving." The Khatri's markings pulsed blue once, and she closed her eyes again but remained alert. "How is the device coming?" Minji asked Subin. "I think we're close." Subin was a small woman with large eyes and quick hands. "I've isolated the frequencies in your voice that seem to have the strongest effect. The problem is reproducing them." "Exactly. A recording doesn't work?" "It works a little, but not as well as your live singing." Subin tapped her console. "There's something in the way you modulate your voice that's hard to capture electronically." Junho entered, carrying a tray of food for Minji. "You need to eat," he insisted, "and Colonel Kang is asking questions again. He wants to know why you've removed the containment field." Minji took the food gratefully. "Tell him it was interfering with her recovery." "He doesn't care about her recovery," Junho said. "He cares about her value as an intelligence asset." "She's not an asset," Minji said firmly. "She's a person." Nari's eyes opened at the change in Minji's tone. The Khatri rose gracefully to her 6 feet, her movements fluid and cat-like. She padded over to Minji and sat beside her, amber eyes fixed on Junho. "I still can't get used to that," Subin said. "The way she understands everything." Minji placed a hand gently on Nari's shoulder. The Khatri's fur was short and soft, with a slight static charge that made it cling to Minji's fingers. "She understands more than we realize," Minji said. "Each time I sing and she sleeps, we communicate more clearly." "What has she told you?" Junho asked. "Her people are peaceful explorers, not the predators everyone thinks. They avoid contact with other species because they're vulnerable during sleep. Without a bonded companion, they can only achieve micro-sleep, which is why they're rarely seen." "Bonded companion?" Subin asked. "Someone whose voice can help them truly sleep. It's a rare connection, formed spontaneously." Minji looked at Nari. "She says her people have been watching humans for generations. They find our vocal patterns particularly compatible with their brain chemistry." "Why was her ship attacked?" Junho asked. Minji's face grew serious. "She doesn't know for sure. Her memory of the attack is fragmented, but she believes they were targeted because of research they were conducting." "What kind of research?" "Something about evolutionary links between species." Minji stroked Nari's fur. "She says humans and Khatri share a distant connection." Subin looked skeptical. "That seems unlikely. We evolved on different planets." According to Nari, that may not be the whole story. Minji was about to say more when the medical bay doors slid open. Colonel Kang entered, his cold eyes immediately fixing on Nari. "I see security protocols have been completely abandoned." Nari's markings flashed red, and she moved slightly in front of Minji. "She's not dangerous," Minji said. "All Khatri are dangerous," Kang replied. "Their psychic abilities alone make them a security risk. Her abilities only work with me, and only when I sing to her." The colonel stepped closer, studying Nari. "So, I've heard. These communications you're having, what exactly has it been telling you?" "She," Minji corrected, "and that's confidential doctor-patient information." "Doctor-patient?" Kang laughed. "It's an alien, Dr. Kim. A sentient alien with rights under the Galactic Charter." Kang's face hardened. "My superiors are losing patience. They want the Khatri transferred to our research facility immediately." "She's still recovering," Minji insisted. "She looks recovered to me." Kang nodded toward Nari, who was now standing at her full height, her back arched slightly. "In fact, she looks ready to attack." "Only because you're threatening her doctor," Junho said. Kang ignored him. "You have until tomorrow morning, Dr. Kim. Either you prepare the Khatri for transfer or I'll have you removed from this case entirely." After he left, Minji turned to her colleagues. "We need to speed up our work on the sleep device, and I need to learn more from Nari while I can." That night, Alone with Nari in the medical bay, Minji sang for hours. As the Khatri slept, their minds connected more clearly than ever before. Your people and mine, Minji thought. How are we connected? Images flowed into her mind. Ancient star maps, DNA sequences, archaeological sites on both Earth and a strange blue-green world. Long ago, Nari's thoughts explained, before your recorded history, our worlds were visited by the same explorers. They left their mark in our genetic code. Who were these explorers? We call them the Cedars. They are gone now, but their legacy lives in many species across the galaxy. Is that why your people were watching Earth? Yes, we recognize the pattern. Your development mirrors our own. We have been waiting for you to reach the stars, to mature enough for formal contact. And your ship? You were coming to make contact? Sadness colored Nari's thoughts. Yes, after generations of debate, it was decided, but someone did not want this meeting to happen. Who? I do not know. The attack was sudden, but they knew exactly where to find us. We were betrayed. Minji felt Nari's consciousness beginning to withdraw. The Khatri was waking. Wait, Minji thought desperately. How can I help you? How can I protect you from Colonel Kang? Sing, came the simple reply. Your voice gives me strength. In deep sleep, I can access my full abilities. Nari's eyes opened, ending their connection. The Khatri looked at Minji with those intelligent amber eyes, then gently touched Minji's face with one of her middle limbs. I'll protect you, Minji promised. The next morning, Subin arrived with the completed device. It's ready for testing, she said. The small object looked like a simple speaker, but inside was complex technology designed to reproduce the exact frequencies of Minji's voice. Let's try it, Minji said. She activated the device, which began to play her recorded singing. Nari watched curiously, her head tilted. As the song played, her markings pulsed purple, and her eyes grew heavy, but she didn't fully sleep. It's working partially, Junho observed, checking the brainwave monitor, but the synchronization isn't complete. Minji nodded. Better than nothing, we can keep improving it. Director Choi entered, her face grave. Dr. Kim, Colonel Kang is on his way with a full security team. He has authorization to remove Nari, by force if necessary. On whose authority? Minji demanded. Earth Command. They've overruled the Galactic Medical Board. Minji looked at Nari, who seemed to understand the situation perfectly. The Khatri's markings were pulsing rapidly between blue and red. What can we do? Minji asked. Director Choi hesitated. I can stall them, perhaps for a few hours. But after that, she shook her head. A few hours might be enough, Minji said. She turned to her colleagues. Junho, take the brainwave data and keep working on the sleep device. Subin, I need you to access the outpost's communication system. What are you planning? Junho asked. Minji looked at Nari. I'm going to help her reach deep sleep. In that state, she can access her full psychic abilities. Maybe she can contact her people. And if she can't, Director Choi asked. Then I'll go with her to the research facility, Minji said firmly. I won't abandon her. As her friends left to carry out their tasks, Minji sat beside Nari. The Khatri's amber eyes were filled with what Minji now recognized as trust. We don't have much time, Minji said softly. She began to sing. Not a lullaby this time, but a powerful traditional Korean song about courage and hope. As Nari's eyes closed, Minji felt their minds connecting once more, stronger than ever before. Together, they reached out into the darkness of space, searching for help. The station alarms blared, jolting Minji from her focused state. Nari's eyes snapped open, her markings flashing bright red. Unknown vessel approaching, the station AI announced. All personnel to emergency stations. Director Choi rushed into the medical bay. The ship just appeared at the edge of our sensor range. It's not responding to hails. Is it Colonel Kang's reinforcements? Minji asked. No. Director Choi's face was pale. This is something else. The design is alien. Nothing we've seen before. Nari let out a low growl, rising to her full height. Her markings were pulsing rapidly between red and yellow. She knows what it is, Minji said. I need to connect with her again. Subin burst into the room. The outpost's communications array is picking up a signal. It's broadcasting in a language I've never heard. Nari's reaction was immediate and violent. She backed away from the door, her claws extending fully for the first time since her arrival. Danger, Minji said, understanding without needing the psychic connection. That ship is dangerous. Colonel Kang and 2 armed soldiers entered the medical bay. For once his cold composure was shaken. That ship, he demanded, pointing at Nari. What is it? Who are they? Nari ignored him, her eyes fixed on Minji. The Khatri made urgent chirping sounds, clearly trying to communicate. I need to sing, Minji said. Now we need to know what we're facing. We don't have time for your singing therapy, Kang snapped. Director Choi stepped between them. Make time, Colonel. Dr. Kim's connection with Nari is our best source of information right now. Kang hesitated, then nodded stiffly. 5 minutes. Minji sat beside Nari, who was trembling slightly. She began to sing, a calm, steady melody. The Khatri's eyes remained open longer than usual, as if fighting sleep despite her need for it. Finally, her eyes closed, and the connection formed. Minji was immediately flooded with images and emotions. Terror, disgust, hatred. She saw strange, bipedal creatures with gray skin and bulbous black eyes. Vradan, came Nari's thought voice filled with fear. Hunters. They harvest Khatri for our psychic glands. They're here for you? Yes. They tracked my psychic signature when we tried to call for help. They will not leave without me. Minji felt sick. How do we stop them? You cannot. They are ruthless. They will destroy this station to get to me if necessary. There must be something we can do. A pause, then. There is one thing. A weakness. Their hearing is highly sensitive. Certain sound frequencies cause them pain. What frequencies? But Nari was waking, the connection fading. Her amber eyes opened, fixed on Minji with urgency. The ship is hailing us, Subin reported. They're demanding we hand over the Khatri. Colonel Kang turned to Minji. What did it tell you? They're called Vradan. Hunters. They want Nari for her psychic glands. Minji couldn't keep the disgust from her voice. They'll destroy the station if we refuse. Then we have no choice, Kang said. We always have a choice, Minji retorted. Nari says they have a weakness. Their hearing is sensitive to certain frequencies. What frequencies? Junho asked. I don't know. The connection broke before she could tell me. Kang's communicator beeped. Sir, a voice said. Earth Command has ordered us to take control of the alien and prepare it for immediate transfer to our ship. Understood. Kang looked at Minji. This changes things. My orders are to secure the Khatri for human interests, not hand it over to alien hunters. Finally, something we agree on, Minji said. Director Choi checked her tablet. The Vradan ship is moving closer. We have maybe 30 minutes before they're in boarding range. We need to move Nari to my ship, Kang said. It's better armed than this medical outpost. And then what? Minji demanded. Hand her over to your research facility to be cut open? How is that different from what the Vradan want? Kang's face hardened. The difference, Doctor, is that we're humans. Our species comes first. No, Minji said firmly. Not like this. The standoff was interrupted by a young security officer rushing in. Colonel, the Vradan ship has launched shuttles. They're heading for our docking bays. How long? Kang demanded. 10 minutes, maybe less. Kang turned to his soldiers. Secure the docking bays. Shoot anything that tries to enter. As they left, Minji turned to her friends. Junho, Subin, I need your help. We need to find those frequencies Nari mentioned. How? Junho asked. We don't have time for another deep connection, Minji thought quickly. The songs. When I sing, my voice produces frequencies that affect Nari's brain pattern. What if those same frequencies affect the Vradan, but negatively? Subin nodded. It's possible. The Khatri and Vredan might have evolved with opposite sensitivities. We need to amplify my voice, Minji said. Broadcast it through the station's communication system. I can do that, Subin said, moving to a console. And I'll analyze the frequency patterns from your previous singing sessions, Junho added. See if there's a pattern we can enhance. Nari watched them work, her markings now a steady purple. She made a soft chirping sound and touched Minji's arm gently. I understand, Minji said, somehow knowing what Nari was trying to tell her. You'll help us. The station shook suddenly. They've breached Docking Bay 3, the station AI announced. We're out of time, Director Choi said. Colonel Kang returned, his uniform torn and a bleeding cut on his forehead. They're in, at least 10 of them. My men are holding them off, but they have advanced weapons. We're almost ready, Minji said as Subin made final adjustments to the console. The closest access to the station's main speaker system is in the central corridor, Subin explained. You'll need to go there to broadcast your voice at maximum volume. The central corridor? Kang looked alarmed. That's exactly where the Vredan are heading. Then we'll have to beat them there, Minji said. She turned to Nari. Ready? The Khatri nodded, her amber eyes resolute. You can't seriously be planning to take the alien out there, Kang protested. Her name is Nari, and… Yes, that's exactly what I'm planning. I'll go with you, said a quiet voice. Everyone turned to see Minho Seo, the station's security technician standing in the doorway with a weapon. I know the back routes through the maintenance tunnels. And I'll provide cover fire, said Security Officer Ji-hye Kwan, appearing behind him. Minji nodded gratefully. Let's go. As they prepared to leave, Director Choi caught Minji's arm. Be careful, Doctor. Those creatures won't hesitate to kill you to get to Nari. I know, Minji said, but I won't let them take her. The small group moved swiftly through the maintenance tunnels, Minho leading the way. Nari moved silently beside Minji, her 6 limbs allowing her to navigate the narrow passages with surprising grace. They could hear the sounds of fighting echoing through the station, the metallic scrape of the Vredan weapons, the shouts of station personnel, the blaring alarms. Almost there, Minho whispered as they approached a service hatch. The central corridor is just beyond this point. He carefully opened the hatch and peered out. Clear for now, but I can hear them coming. They emerged into the wide central corridor. At one end was the main communications panel. At the other, the sounds of approaching Vredan. Go, Ji-hye said, taking up a defensive position. I'll hold them off as long as I can. Minji ran to the panel, Nari at her side. Her hands shook as she input the commands Subin had given her. System ready, the panel announced. Broadcast channel open. The sounds of fighting grew closer. Minho stood beside Ji-hye, weapon raised. Now, Minji, he called. They're coming. Minji took a deep breath and began to sing. Not a lullaby this time, but the powerful mountain song she had sung to Nari before. Her voice echoed through the station's speaker system, amplified 100 times. At first, nothing happened. Then from around the corner came a high-pitched screaming. The first of the Vredan appeared, gray-skinned and terrible, with weapons that glowed with strange energy. But they were clutching their heads, their bulbous black eyes wide with pain. Nari stood tall beside Minji, her markings glowing bright blue. As Minji continued to sing, she felt Nari's consciousness brush against hers, adding power to her voice, guiding her to the exact notes that caused the Vredan the most pain. The hunters retreated, unable to withstand the sound. Minji sang until her voice grew hoarse, but she didn't stop. And somewhere in the depths of space, something heard her song. Minji sang until her voice cracked, the sound filling every corner of the station. The Vredan hunters had retreated but remained on the outpost, unable to advance but unwilling to leave without their prize. You need to rest, Minho said, helping Minji to a sitting position against the wall. You can't keep this up forever. Minji nodded, her throat raw. Nari crouched beside her, amber eyes filled with concern. The Khatri placed one of her middle limbs gently on Minji's shoulder. I know, Minji whispered. We need another plan. Jihya kept watch at the corridor junction. They're regrouping. I can hear them. Colonel Kang appeared from a side passage, his uniform torn and dirty. My men have sealed off the main docking bay. The Vradan can't get back to their ship, but neither can we escape. We're trapped, Minho said. Junho's voice came through the communication system. Minji, are you there? Yes, she replied hoarsely. Subin and I have been analyzing the frequency patterns. We think we can program the station's emergency alert system to broadcast your voice continuously. You won't have to keep singing. That would help, Minji said. But it won't solve our bigger problem. The Vradan won't leave without Nari. There's something else, Junho continued. We've detected another ship entering the system. It's massive, much larger than the Vradan vessel. Nari's markings suddenly pulsed bright blue. She made a series of excited chirping sounds, placing both her middle limbs on Minji's face. What is it? Minji asked. What's happening? The Khatri looked upward, as if seeing through the station's walls into space beyond. Her markings rippled with patterns Minji had never seen before. I think, Minji said slowly, help has arrived. The station's communication system crackled with static. Then a strange melodic sound filled the air, similar to singing but unlike any human language. Nari responded immediately, her own markings flashing in complex patterns. She looked at Minji, then back at the ceiling, clearly torn. The new ship is hailing us, Director Choi's voice announced. They're broadcasting in multiple languages, including Earth Standard. Put it through, Colonel Kang ordered. A deep, resonant voice filled the corridor. This is Captain Varesh of the Khatri vessel Starlight Harmony. We have detected one of our kind aboard your station, along with hostile Vradan hunters. We request permission to assist. Nari made a sound that could only be described as joyful. This is Colonel Do-hyun Kang of Earth Military Intelligence. We welcome your assistance against the Vradan, but the Khatri in our custody is under Earth protection. Minji struggled to her feet. This is Dr. Minji Kim. Nari is not in custody. She's my patient and my friend. There was a pause before the Khatri captain responded. Dr. Kim, your voice is familiar to us. It was your song that guided us here, amplified by our kin's psychic call. Can you help us? Minji asked. The Vradan are trapped on the station with us. We can help, Captain Varesh assured her. The Vradan fear us more than they desire their prey. Stand by. The station trembled as a bright light shone through the viewport at the end of the corridor. The Khatri ship was using some kind of energy beam on the Vradan vessel. The Vradan ship has been disabled, Captain Varesh reported. They have no choice but to surrender or be destroyed. Moments later, the station's sensors detected the Vradan retreating to their ship. Under the watchful weapons of the Khatri vessel, the hunters' damaged craft limped away from the outpost and disappeared into the darkness of space. It's over, Jihi said, lowering her weapon. Nari's markings pulsed with blue light. She looked at Minji, communicating without words that it wasn't over yet. Colonel Kang stepped forward. The Vradan may be gone, but my orders remain unchanged. The Khatri is to be transferred to Earth Command for research purposes. After all this, Minji said in disbelief, you still want to treat her like a specimen? I have my orders, Doctor. Before Kang could say more, the air shimmered, and a tall Khatri materialized in the corridor. This one had silver and blue markings instead of orange and black, but the same intelligent amber eyes as Nari. I am Captain Varesh, the newcomer, said, his voice matching the one they had heard over the communication system. Nari rushed to him, the two Khatri touching foreheads in greeting. How did you get aboard? Kang demanded, his hand moving to his weapon. We have technology your sensors cannot detect, Varesh explained calmly. I came to retrieve our lost researcher and to meet the human with the healing voice. He turned to Minji, studying her with those amber eyes. You have formed a bond with Nari. Such connections are rare and precious among our kind. I was just helping my patient, Minji said. You did far more than that, Varesh replied. You recognized her sentience when others saw only a specimen. You protected her when it put you at risk, and your voice gave her peace when she needed it most. Colonel Kang interrupted. Captain Varesh, I must inform you that Earth Command has claimed this Khatri for research purposes. Your arrival doesn't change that. Varesh turned to Kang, his markings shifting to a deep purple. Colonel, my ship currently holds your station in its energy field. We could take Nari by force if we wished. But that is not our way. Director Choi hurried into the corridor, breathless. Colonel Kang, I've just received a direct communication from Earth Command. They're ordering you to stand down. What? Kang looked stunned. The appearance of a Khatri capital ship has changed the situation. They're ordering us to establish diplomatic relations instead. Varesh's markings pulsed with amusement. Your leaders are wise. We have much to offer each other as allies. And what does the Khatri Collective propose? Director Choi asked. A formal first contact protocol, Varesh said. An exchange of knowledge and culture, and he looked at Minji. We request that Dr. Kim serve as human ambassador to our world. Me? Minji was shocked. Why me? Your bond with Nari makes you uniquely qualified, and we believe you have much to teach us about your healing songs. Nari approached Minji, her amber eyes pleading. She gently pressed her forehead against Minji's, and in that moment, Minji felt the connection between them stronger than ever before. My people have never known the peace of deep sleep without a bonded companion, Nari's thoughts explained. Your songs could help many of us, and I would miss you, my friend. I don't know what to say, Minji said aloud. Director Choi placed a hand on her shoulder. This is a historic opportunity, Doctor, for all of humanity. Colonel Kang looked unhappy but resigned. It seems I'm overruled. What about my work here? Minji asked. The outpost will manage, Director Choi said with a smile. Some things are more important. Minji looked at her friends. Junho and Subin had arrived, standing with Minho and Jihye. They all nodded encouragingly. All right, Minji said finally. I'll go. 3 days later, Minji stood in the docking bay, a small bag of personal belongings at her feet. Her friends had gathered to say goodbye. Don't forget us when you're living among the stars, Junho joked, though his eyes were damp. How could I? Minji embraced each of them. Thank you for everything. Nari waited patiently by the airlock that connected to the Khatri vessel. Captain Varesh had explained that she would have quarters adapted for human comfort and would serve as a bridge between their species. As Minji joined Nari at the airlock, she turned for one last look at the outpost that had been her home. Then she took a deep breath and stepped through with Nari at her side. The interior of the Khatri ship was breathtaking. Curved walls glowed with soft light, and the air carried a hint of something like cinnamon. Other Khatri moved about, their markings pulsing with different colors as they noticed the human in their midst. Nari led Minji to a large chamber with a viewport showing the stars. As the ship prepared to depart, Minji felt a moment of uncertainty. She was leaving everything she knew behind. Sensing her anxiety, Nari touched her arm gently. Minji smiled and began to sing softly. Around them, the Khatri gathered, their markings pulsing in rhythm with her voice. As her song filled the alien ship, Minji realized she wasn't leaving home behind. She was helping build a bridge between worlds, one note at a time. And somewhere, in the harmony of her voice and the glowing markings of the Khatri, a new future was beginning.